As British Leyland faced its impending privatisation during the mid-1980s, a great sense of optimism would arise from the firm being released from the shackles of its previous tenure under government control, and thus was met with a vast array of promising concepts, which, if brought to fruition, would have seen the respective brands of the upcoming Rover Group experience a major resurgence on the global stage. One of the more notable examples was the MG EXE, a proposed 170-mile-an-hour supercar, which would have been among the fastest models on sale at the time had it gone beyond a styling exercise into a fully developed production car, but would end up simply being but an engineless fiberglass one-off. By the time of the rebranding of British Leyland into the Rover Group in 1986, the MG marque, which had been brought into the Leyland conglomerate under the British Motor Holdings aspect, had been essentially stripped bare of all the promise it had shown when the British Leyland merger was enacted in 1968. With its slew of perky roadsters and small sports cars, such as the MGB and the Midget, having been contorted and disfigured beyond all proportions as part of the company's fanatical desire to meet American safety legislation. Eventually, with the sudden plummet of traditional sports car sales during the late 1970s following the hot hatchback revolution, all of MG's original cars were withdrawn from production in 1980, and the name was placed onto slightly tuned, performance-orientated variants of British Leyland's regular family models, including the MG Metro, the MG Maestro, and the MG Montego. With the MG marque in dire straits, a solution was needed to give the brand back its identity as a renowned sports car manufacturer, in order to avoid it being wound up in its entirety as per the likes of Triumph and Morris during the first half of the 1980s, the remedy presenting itself in the form of a concept car presented at the 1984 London Motor Show, dubbed the Honda HPX or Honda Pininfarina Experimental, a bubble-top styling exercise conducted by the Italian firm at the request of Honda, who needed an exhibit for their Take a Trip into Tomorrow display. The free hand given to Pininfarina resulted in a stunning and futuristic design, which featured an advanced composite body and a wedge-shaped profile, the car's most notable asset being its windscreen, which evolved into a transparent perspex roof, this bubble-top design also acting as an air brake when activated at a certain speed, while instead of using doors, access would be gained by lifting the roof. Seeing the HPX concept car, Roy Axe, then the styling manager at British Leyland, who also happened to be the proud owner of a mid-engined Ferrari 308 GT4 at the time, decided that the MG brand should be revived by way of a mid-engined sports car concept that would be displayed at the upcoming Frankfurt Motor Show. Therefore, Axe created a bubble-top, low-slung, wedge-shaped design that owed many of its aesthetics to the Honda, while a Lotus Esprit, borrowed from Austin Rover Group product planner Tony Burton, was used as a dimensional reference model to form the clay mock-up, the project, dubbed the MG EXE, being developed with every intention of potentially seeing this machine go into full-scale production. The visual goal of the project was to create a GT sports car of a similar size to that of the Ferrari 308, but with a completely unique look, the MG brand being chosen for this model, as it was the only dedicated sports car label left in British Leyland's arsenal after the axing of Austin Healey and Triumph, Leyland's chairman Harold Musgrove also being incredibly enthusiastic about the program. Due to Musgrove being an aviation enthusiast, he saw parallels between the car and the striking looks of the General Dynamics F-16 Fighting Falcon jet aircraft, while the design manager for the exterior of the project was Gordon Sked, who was accompanied by a small team of designers comprising graduates, together with ex-Chrysler Europe and Peugeot designer Jerry McGovern. In terms of its design, the EXE was a technical tour de force, with a drag coefficient of 0.24, equivalent to a modern-day Tesla Model S, while Ben King, designer of the Range Rover, brought across an aluminium space frame that was bonded together, the body being comprised of self-colored, unstressed plastic panels, although at the time the large greenhouse-style canopy was considered troublesome when it came to cooling, and would have likely required an extremely powerful air conditioning system in order to keep the interior conditions tolerable. Meanwhile, other aspects of the car's incredible technological aspirations included active suspension, parking radar, LCD digital instrumentation and heads-up display, remote central locking, a rudimentary navigation system, automatic lights, a keycard-operated locking system, rain-sensitive windscreen wipers, and a hands-free operation for the car's inbuilt cell phone. In terms of mechanics, the concept model was placed onto the chassis of one of MG's Group B rally cars, the Metro 6R4, upon which was mounted amidships a 3-litre naturally aspirated V6 that was loosely related to the Cosworth DFB, and was capable of producing 250 horsepower, and though some power was lost on its way through a manual all-wheel drive transmission, this was compensated for by the car's ultralight chassis and body. Therefore, the potential performance of this magnificent machine was a 0 to 60 time of around 4 seconds and a top speed of 170 miles an hour, almost as fast as a Lamborghini Countach LP400, while driver-adjustable aerodynamics could shed drag further or add downforce for cornering thanks to a double wishbone suspension, active damping, and anti-lock brakes. The EXE project started initially with good progress, but was quickly slowed due to issues when trying to introduce a design that was as light as possible. This problem eventually overcome following EXE taking a cue from the 308 and having the bonnet surface be below the wings to create a lighter look and an improved view forward from the cockpit, as had been so admired in the Ferrari, the final model ultimately emerging as a full-scale mock-up clad in fiberglass and painted silver. This was presented to Harold Musgrove only days prior to the upcoming Frankfurt Motor Show, and with his blessing, the car was allowed to be presented at the venue and was accompanied by promotional sketches covering the design process, which had been drafted by Jerry McGovern and other members of the design team as a group effort. In the end, the MG EXE was revealed to the masses at the 1985 Frankfurt Motor Show after being put together by a small group of Leyland technicians on the side. The appearance of this incredible car, wearing an MG badge, taking the viewing public completely by surprise as a highly ambitious model with all the technical wizardry it proposed. Having come from the same builder who, only 5 years earlier, had discontinued the MGB of the 1960s and was now bemoaned for having its name placed onto slightly modified versions of Austin's family cars, the motoring press of the time applauded the concept and expected that, based on the enthusiasm for the Metro 6R4 rally car, MG would have no trouble enticing potential buyers with the EXE should it be pushed into production. Sadly, while there was an incredible amount of enthusiasm for the proposed MG EXE following its unveiling at the Frankfurt Motor Show, with one Austin Rover executive reportedly stating that the car could have been used as an entrant into the proposed replacement for FIA Group B rallying known as Group S, Harold Musgrove had serious reservations as to marketing the project, and felt that such a niche car had too many downsides to justify a barnstorming attempt by MG to fight its way back onto the stage of high-speed supercars. This was despite the fact that the chassis and mechanical specifications complemented the already existing MG Metro 6R4, as well as the fact that, at the time, supercars, after over a decade of diminished sales and low interest following the 1973 oil crisis, were about to hit back in a huge way thanks to the likes of the Porsche 959 of 1986 and the Ferrari F40 of 1987, sparking an all-out war between the various car manufacturers to create the fastest production car in the world. This would ultimately lead to a phenomenal revival for cars of this ultra-exclusive market bracket that pervaded through the 1990s and into the new millennium, the MG EXE, if it had gone into production, not being the fastest of the bunch, but certainly a contender for one of the finest had it reached sales with all its styling and technical innovation present, essentially MG's equivalent of the now legendary Jaguar XJ220 that would follow in 1988. Sadly, with the seed of doubt placed, the MG EXE project remained as a single fiberglass prop, and even with the formation of the new Rover Group a year later in 1986, the MG marque would remain relegated to Metros, Maestros and Montegos until being revived on its own dedicated models, first in 1992 with the limited production MG RV8 and later with the MGF of 1995, the latter of which proved to be a huge sales success across Britain and Europe and could potentially have seen similar commercial victories in the United States and Canada, only for the model not to be marketed in North America at the insistence of parent firm BMW, who feared the MG would steal sales away from their own roadster, the BMW Z3. As for the MG EXE itself, while the project never went beyond an engineless mock-up, the concept did live on in many indirect ways. The Jaguar XJ220, which was being built by a small team of Jaguar engineers during their spare time, taking a lead from the MG by utilizing the 6R4 Metro rally car engine as part of the production models, which would attain a top speed of 212 miles an hour and a 0 to 60 time of 3.6 seconds, making it briefly the fastest production car in the world. Sadly, the use of the Metro engine in the XJ220 would be one of the car's many controversies, as customers, who had laid down £50,000 deposits, were expecting the machine to be fitted with a V12 power unit as per the original prototype, leading to much legal wrangling as buyers attempted to void their contracts and withdraw their deposits, while the styling of the MG EXE, in the form of its spiritual progenitor, the HPX, would play a significant role in the creation of Honda's prestigious NSX, or New Sports Experimental, a performance car which, after 6 years of development, would emerge in 1990 as one of the finest mid-engine sports cars ever created. To summarize, the MG EXE was a concept not lacking in promise, as with its many technological and mechanical facets having been shown to great effect at the Frankfurt Motor Show, the incentive was clearly present for British Leyland and its successor the Rover Group to take the risk and push the car potentially through to full-scale production, though how the model would have performed on the market against the likes of the Lamborghini Countach and the Ferrari 328 is a matter of debate. In consideration of the many promising concepts brought to fruition under British Leyland, a pervasive lack of fit and finish with the company at the time, leading to significant unreliability which continued to smear the firm's name, meant the project would have likely suffered a similar fate to that of Rover Group's attempted return onto the US market known as Sterling, which was notorious for falling well below sales forecasts due to its ribald quality faults, despite the fact that, on paper at least, it was thoroughly competitive. As is, MG's promising sports car would remain only a one-off, and even though the company would venture into the realm of modern high-performance machines with the later MG EXE SP of 2003, which itself was based largely off the underpinnings of the earlier Cavalli Mangusta of the late 1990s, one could not forget the firm's first attempt to reach for new levels of sporting prowess and dragging the marque out of its ailing reputation, another promising what-if scenario that would fall by the wayside and miss the boat with regard to the rapid resurgence of supercars during the latter half of the 1980s, as truly yet another missed opportunity for British Leyland.